Sagittarius October 2013 with me, Lada from astrology.com, and this is for everyone who have their ascendant, sun or moon in Sagittarius. Always check the ascendant sign. Is the most personal, the most tangible results often you'll see from the ascendant sign. If you know your exact time of birth within 10-15 degrees at least, the ascendant sign is your physical body and what happens to you on your path in life. The moon sign changes once every 2 days. And the moon sign is very personal. It's what's most in your consciousness, mostly what you think about, what impresses you the most. So often, especially women who are more feeling beings, but men as well, they would often identify a lot with the influence of the influences to the moon sign. And the sun sign is the more logical, rational part of ourselves, the one that we can control more, we have more free will over it. So it's also good to check the sun sign, but it's not so personal as the ascendant and moon sign. It's not so fated as well. So what happens, Sagittarius? And if you don't know your ascendant, sun and moon, you can find them on my website and on my birth chart calculator, for which I'm putting a link. And below your birth chart, you'll see a table that says the sign and the degree of your ascendant, sun, moon. There are other planets as well. You don't have to check the other planets. The most important thing is that two trigger planets, Jupiter and Mercury, are triggering your liberation houses, the emotional houses. So this month will be more a time of emotional release. And these two planets, whenever they trigger something, Jupiter and Mercury, they trigger it in a positive way. Only they bring tangible results. Only they bring, when they trigger something together, they bring something that really starts moving and happening. And together this month, they're influencing, they're triggering together two of your liberation houses, the emotional houses. So it means for a lot of you, there will be some kind of emotional release this month. A step closer to feeling more whole as a person, to feeling more emotionally healed, especially if you've been having some traumatic experiences, some painful periods. You'll feel more healing within yourself. And they trigger the most difficult houses in astrology, but in a positive way. So the 12th and the 8th house. 8th house rules traumas, abuse, addictions, anything which has power over you, anything which you're obsessed over, whether it's a person, whether it's a drug, whether it's a habit, whether it's counting the stairs, and you feel like you're not free because of those things. You feel like you cannot, they have sway over you. This is the 8th house. All the inner power struggles, your inner demons that you have, the power struggles that you have with other people. So they can be some healing of that because of Jupiter and Mercury. There can be some release, and in a positive way, not by you having to say, no longer, I'm not gonna smoke, I'm throwing the cigarette. It's gonna be more like if it happens, it's gonna be more in a healing, in a more natural way. Maybe you release some bad memory. 12th house is the house of past life experiences that you've buried, past life traumas. So there can be paranoia and weird things that you don't know why you react, or why you always keep reacting the same way. Something maybe happened in your childhood, that makes you every time react this way, and this can come to your consciousness, to the surface of your mind, and you can release it and let it go. And this is the most psychological, so great time to work with a counselor, with a psychologist, to maybe be more introspective, think about yourself a little bit more, the past, and analyze your emotions and your feelings a bit more. And you'll be deeper, you'll feel deeper than other times, you'll feel more intensely than other times. But on the more material level, what is the 8th and the 12th house? The material level of 8th house is other people's money and resources, and other people helping us with whatever they come, whether it's with time, with money, especially your partner's money. So for some of you, especially ascendant in Sagittarius, very likely is that you might have some financial increase due to other people helping you. Maybe someone investing in you, maybe your partner making a score, or buying you something really nice, or gold digging out of someone, or I don't know, maybe someone not hiring you, but rent in the smallest possible way, someone like lending you something you can use, or maybe you want to start some projects and you don't have the necessary resources, someone giving you a helping hand. But you can reach out to others this month, and you can be like, let's say 70% sure that if you reach out to them, they'll give you the support, emotional, psychological, and financial. Or you can reach out to banks, especially if your ascendant is in Sagittarius, and receive alone if you want, or you can reach out to psychologists who can help, especially if your moon is in Sagittarius. The moon is connected more to the emotional healing process. Then you can have emotional healing in this period, and others helping you in that direction. And 8th house is inheritance. Maybe some of you might get some inheritance. Maybe some of you might get 8th house is the house of death. 2 beautiful planets triggering it. It doesn't mean you'll die beautifully. It means you might have some healing and release from a bereavement that you've experienced, you know, in the past. Maybe you can finally be able to let go. And 12th house is the house of long-term investments. Something that you put money in for right now, and which is going to pay in a few years probably. And actually the 12th house is the house of expenses, but long-term investments, they're like expense for you right now because you don't see the return back. So it's very advisable for you if you're doing some long-term investment, especially if your ascendant is in Sagittarius or your sun is in Sagittarius, because the sun is more connected to making rational decisions and, you know, things like that. Then it's good for you to invest maybe in some long-term project, or maybe in something like that is going to start paying back in a few years or a few months down the line. And if you do this, it will not be a waste. It will not be something that brings you, for right now it will be an expense, but later on it will have positive developments for you. So if you have such an opportunity, use it. 12th house is also helping others, and helping others can be a great source of your time. Basically, again, wasting. It's spending your time, spending your energy, spending your money on someone else. But because it's positive planets that trigger it, it means it will have positive repercussions for you. It's not the right word. Positive results for you. It's like building up some good karma. You know, 12th house is the house of karma, negative or positive, and when good planets trigger it, you can build up some good karma this month by helping others, by giving of your time as well, by lending a ear on someone, you know, to cry on, or take your clothes and give them to the, you know, to a charity shop or something like that. Or 12th house also indicates faraway places and escaping reality and going on a holiday, escaping the tangible, practical worries of the world. And so these 2 planets can trigger for you going away on a vacation, on a holiday, going away into your own retreat, maybe even at home, into your own inner world, exploring your inner world, your deep psychological. You'll be in a more mystical, occult state of mind where you're like more introverted, observing more things within yourself, you know. So it's all good for such kind of activities. And Venus, though, it's in your 1st house in Sagittarius. Basically, Venus is transiting the sign of Sagittarius over your sun, ascendant, or moon, which always makes you more charming, which always makes you more pleasure-seeking, more seeking for the fun and pleasurable things in life. So you can be, if you want to charm someone, if you want to, you know, to impress someone with your nice charisma, this is the time to do it. Venus is the planet of love, so you become more attuned to the affairs of love and relationships, and you become more open-minded and forgiving and balancing and harmonizing. Even if you're someone who's usually quite, you know, tongue-in-cheek person, you'd find yourself that you're being a bit more considerate of others, a bit more delegate-like, a bit more better at balancing, harmonizing things, and charming your way rather than stomping your way into something you want. So you can attract through charisma this month. And it's also good for love, as I said. I'm not saying you're going to meet the love of your life, but definitely there can be a few nice dates and sensual, pleasurable activities as well. And a few luxuries in life, like pampering yourself. And actually, I've often noticed that when Venus transits the 1st house, which is the physical appearance, especially if your ascendant is in Sagittarius, or the sun in Sagittarius, or the moon, particularly the ascendant, the woman starts, if you're a woman in particular, they start becoming more sensual. She starts feeling more beautiful within herself, and that's why others are attracted more. And actually, by the end of the transit, you see that when Venus has been in the 1st house, you see that a woman or a man, they look better actually. They look better than at other times in the year, you know. They become beautified through the grace of Venus. And the last thing, Mars is going into your 10th house from the 2nd part of the month, from around the 15th, 16th. It will stay there for about 2 months. So the end of October and November will be very busy for your career. You'll be able to put a lot of energy into working hard, because Mars is the planet of energy. 10th house is your career and achievements. So you are gonna, you know, get focused there and put a lot of developments. It might be a bit stressful because Mars is a stress, anger energy, but it's great in the 10th house because it helps you get things done there and move forward with those projects. Thank you very much, but watch out in October, the end of October and November, for friction with authority figures as well, because Mars can bring this. So thank you very much, Sagittarius, and I'll see you next month.